Well, hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is Robin and Lindsay, again, two coaches on a mission. Lindsay is an accountability coach. I am a confidence coach. And every couple of weeks, we pop on to LinkedIn Live and we are looking to walk you through the ABCs of success for 2022. So we're walking through the alphabet every week. We have the next letter. And today we have K. So we're going to talk about some success words that begin with K and give you some usable, applicable tools and tips. So in about 20, 25 minutes, you can walk out of here and continue your success journey for the year until we see you again. So hi, Lindsay.
Hi, Robin. I was just saying I'm so excited to have this call with you today. And for anyone who's tuning in with us, my life's been crazy. I was like coming back from COVID and we had company after the COVID and I was babysitting an extra dog. And this whole everything just went back to calm today for me. And then I had this call with you today and it felt like, yes, the most perfect reset. And I'm saying this on purpose for our listeners to hear today, because there is something magical about having things scheduled, having resets, knowing what your normalcy looks like. And excited to come back to. I'm hoping everybody loves what they get to come back to in their normal life. And if you don't, then we need to investigate that together. But it's kind of fun to think that I know that this is work to you and I. It's fun work, but it's still part of our careers. And to be excited to show up to it and to have you all with us today. So thank you. Thank you, Robin, for being my reset button today.
Oh, you are welcome, Lindsay. And thank you I'm so glad our paths crossed.
So, yes, and for anyone, we are far enough into this now that maybe if anybody has missed some talks, Robin and I met through, I do a podcast called Direction, Not Perfection. And I was fortunate enough to have Robin come on and talk about her book, Get Off My Bus. I need it in front of me. And I feel like I use what you talk about, and I will throw our podcast episode below here because I talk about your book all the time with my clients. There is such valid everyday takeaway information in your book. So ever since I met you, I'm like, we can't be done. And then to have this alphabet to walk through together has been such a blessing. So again, thank you.
Thank you so much. And, Lindsay, you hit on something there. No matter how far you are along in life, your career, your personal life, your personal goals, your professional goals, we're all human beings and life gets in the way. And no matter how much we know how to get past something or how to get over something or how to work with something, we're human and we need those reminders consistently. And I love what you just said about the reset button. My goodness. Take your today, schedule in your calendar, your planner, online, whatever it is you use for your scheduling tool, and plan a weekly reset. What a wonderful idea. Just as an aside, I don't want to let that go because that's brilliant. It could be a quick little 5-minute thing, right? It could be shut everything down for 2 minutes and just walk outside and take a breath of fresh air. It could be something really tiny. It could be something bigger than that. But what an amazing idea, just to always make sure you have a reset, because life's going to take over sometimes and there's not much we can do about that. And that's okay. The key is control what you can control. And that reset is something wonderful. Thank you for bringing that up. I love it. And I'm so glad to have you back and in full swing. So
if anybody watches our last letter, our J, I'll apologize now. That was really coming off of COVID and my brain was just a tick slow. But here we are today. We thought J was going to be hard and actually thought K was going to be hard, but we have some really good tips for you today. And I feel like we need to start with, Robin, you mentioned kudos. And let's kick it off with this, because I feel like this is one of those things that if every one of my clients could understand to give themselves kudos, we would be further ahead in our journeys than we are. So floor is back over to you, girl.
You know what? Kudos. You have got to give yourself and others kudos on a regular basis. And what we're talking about here is really, you've got to celebrate those small wins. It's so easy to get caught up in what's going wrong, in complaining, in focusing on what we still have to do as opposed to what we've done, those types of things. It's easy. Don't ever beat yourself up about that. That's easy to do. However, you've got to balance that out by giving yourself a pat on the back. Hi, Allison. Allison just popped in. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. So you've got to get in the habit, and it is a habit like anything else, right? Complaining is a habit. Giving yourself kudos and celebrating small wins is also a habit. And so if you do yourself a favor and remind yourself to give not only you, but other people kudos every chance you get, it will change your brain chemistry quickly. Instantly. It's kind of like that idea of a smile, right? As soon as if something's going wrong and you simply sit back a little bit, take a breath and smile, your physiology changes in that instant. Your brain chemistry changes in that instant. The chemicals that start shooting through your body change in an instant. So we do have control over a lot of those things. It's just either one, nobody ever teaches us that, or two, more likely, we know that stuff because we tell other people to do those things all the time. However, we've got to remind ourselves to take that same great advice. And so giving yourself kudos, celebrate the small wins, be aware of the little tiny things that are going right, that are going okay. If you're looking ahead at how far you have to go, turn around and look at how far you've come. You've got to balance those two things out, and it will put you in a wonderful place because you'll be in a place of choice, and you'll be able to see not only the roadblocks, which are going to be there, and that's okay. You're also going to see the possibilities, and that's the game changer.
It's so good. I 100% agree, and I'm loving this. I need to add on, and I'm jumping the gun because we normally do homework at the end, but I think that this is our golden opportunity to throw some homework at you today. And it's to take just today, for instance, and acknowledge where you could give yourself kudos. Because one of the things that I see, Robin mentioned, I'm an accountability coach. I'm a trained dietitian by trade and personal trainer turned accountability coach. And I'm telling you that because a lot of my clients are nutrition based, and we forget to give ourselves kudos on the things that come naturally to us. So let's say you're already a really good water drinker. Let's say you already eat your fruits and vegetables in the day. Let's say you go to bed at a decent hour. When things come natural or easy to us, we go, that doesn't matter. That's just easy. Instead of going, check, I drink my water. Check, I went to bed on time. Like, make sure the kudos not only come from the things that we struggle and are hard for us, but they come from the things that, thank goodness, some stuff comes easy to us. Thank goodness, right? Why do we have to fight for everything that we want? So enjoy those kudos, but really chalk them up throughout the whole day. And they can be the easy things too.
Oh, I love that addition. Thank you, Lindsay. So true. So true. You know what? Let me throw one out to you. One of the K's we came up with, knowledge or knowing. And knowing and doing are very different things. So let's talk a little bit about know.
Okay, I love this because I have said from the time that I've started my community, my Direction Not Perfection community, my clients tell me I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. Right. And so I was telling another interviewed guest on my podcast about this, and she goes, well, I have a little something for you. It's a Chinese proverb, and it goes like this: to know and not do is not knowing. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I had to think on that for a minute. To know and not do is not knowing. Because if we think on that, it means that if we truly understood what was in our way from, I'll go back to the drinking the water or the going to the bed. If we truly understood our barrier, we would do the thing that we know we should be doing, right? There's something that's hanging us up, that's catching, that isn't flowing for us during our day. And that goes back to a Robin or I grabbing a coach, grabbing somebody from that external standpoint to go, this is what I see. And sometimes when it's us, we can't pull that out. We can't get there on our own, or we can't get there as fast because it's harder to see what we're normally stopping ourselves. And Robin, you always say that we're normally the problem. And so if we're the problem, it's very helpful to have an external source go, hey, have you considered? And kind of run with that. Well, how do you feel about knowing and not doing, Robin?
I'll take everything you said and second it. And, I'll also just sort of, I think we just need to reemphasize that knowing and doing are very different things. If all it took to accomplish anything you wanted was knowing, we would all accomplish everything
Mhm.
because it's really easy to know. But taking action is the piece that differentiates people who do or accomplish or get what they're looking to get and those who don't. It's not really knowledge, it's action, because so often we know more than we really need to know. And it's easy again to fall into that trap as a darn human being. We keep doing these things. We overthink it and we procrastinate because part of the fear is we're not ready. Let me read one more book. Let me have one more conversation. Let me watch one more video. Let me take one more class. And there's this constant feel of I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And all that does is stop us from doing, which is the only thing we need to do to accomplish. And so, what I would add to know is assume you already know more than you need to know.
Mm.
You already know enough to start. Please don't try and know everything because you could read a billion books, but if you never do, you're not going to know because most of your actual real life knowing comes from doing. It comes from the experience itself. And so the person who's taken 7 classes and read 100 books is still going to be behind the person who's gone out and tried it 4 times because the experience is worth so much more and will get you so far ahead. It teaches you much more. So take that knowing, know one thing and then go do it. And now go know another thing and then go do it. And now know another thing and go do it. And Lindsay, to your point, I know we're both coaches and we're all about, hey, get a coach, get a coach. We know the power of that and the impact it can have. But the reality is you will never see what other people can see.
Yeah.
And the way that you know that is think about all of the people that you are convinced you know what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. You know how to fix everybody else's lives because it's so simple to see from the outside in and go, why aren't they just doing that? You've got a bunch of those. So do I. So does Lindsay. We all have those things. And sometimes it just takes somebody else to go, you're saying you want this, but you're doing that. Those don't work together. Which do you want? Okay, great. Then let's go ahead and do this so you get what you want. So getting that outside person to be able to show you and tell you, give you the answers to the test that you keep trying to take by yourself. Here are the answers. Now go take the test. It's a lot easier.
Mhm.
So
That's good. So true.
and
Oh,
we all laugh so we don't cry. It's like, yeah, we can all think of places we do that. It's just it's amazing when you think about it. So
I do. And I
accept
just had
outside views.
Yeah, I feel like I have to add to that because I think it can, like, a barrier for people on getting a coach, yes, can be money, but another one is it's a little uncomfortable to have somebody sit across from you and go, "Have you considered?" or "Why are you not?" And
Mhm.
like I always get to the it's like if my coach isn't making me a little uncomfortable, then I'm probably not advancing. I don't love it. There's times where I have to really feel like I have to show up today. I don't want to. I don't feel like being like taught or building insight today. And I'm always glad once I do it. But I guess I just want to tell everybody it's okay to feel a little uncomfortable because that is where our progress. And I'm going to hog the floor for a minute because you mentioned action, Robin, and that was one of my other K's for today. Keys, I want everybody to go in like video game mode. If you have kids that play video games or if you play them, or I always go back to good old Mario Brothers was my like, I love Mario Brothers. But normally within a video game, there is this like gathering of whether it's coins or I'm going to call them keys today since we're on to K's. And I really want you to picture yourself in life going around and gathering keys. And so one of your keys would be I drank water, I got to collect my key. I ate a fruit and a vegetable at lunch today, I collect another key. And as we go around collecting keys throughout our game, our keys open a door. And that door is and I want you to picture as you walk through, you have done something because it's action. You have either built insight or you have accomplished some success, or you have learned something new. So you get to like open a door, keys unlocked, a new, and you walk through and you level up. You're leveling up in life with action. You are now on the next level and collecting new keys, because success, it leaves clues. And so we already we have built some understanding, and we get to understand moving forward how our next steps get to look. And then so we regather new keys and a new door opens, and we level up again and again. But we don't get to level up if the action isn't there. Back to Robin's point of, we can know so much, but we're never going to get to keep walking through those unlocked doors if you're not taking the action steps to get there. So I love the video game examples. Again, that was given by somebody else to me. And I just can picture, if every time we pictured a good habit being done in the day, yes, give ourselves kudos. And in your head, you can hear ding, like whatever noise you like from your video game. Ching, ding, ding, ding. Like, oh, all of this counts. My water, ding, sleep, ding. Like, I just, to me, that makes me smile as I go through and I go, oh, that was a success. That was a success. Kudos. Okay, I'm really done now, Robin.
No, that's awesome. The visual and the auditory piece to that, because I can hear at the end of the day all those coins, right? Ding, 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 ding. Right at the end of every level, it would always make the dings and count all your coins, and fantastic. And you know what? And you know, I'm so glad you brought that in, Lindsay, because when we talk about things like personal development and professional development and stuff, you know what? Have some fun with this.
Yeah.
We get caught up in, I have to be better. I have to be better. I have to. No, you have to be human, and life is too short. Have some fun with it. And so find the silliness in it. Find ways to level up. Find ways to hear the little Mario tune in the background, which, thank you very much, I'm going to be singing all week. It's sitting in my head right now. But yeah, that's the key. And I'll use your K word here. Have some fun with it. That is such a key to just really just thriving with some of this stuff and being able to keep moving and leveling up, and not really let the things that come at you that potentially can sideline you or sidetrack you sometimes get to you very much. Right? They take a little knock and you're like, all right, whatever. And you move back into life because it's fun. And so find the fun. We would invite and encourage you to do that as often as you can. It's a mindset shift that, again, it changes everything if you can work on making that shift. You know, there's one more I want to throw in here also, Lindsay, and it's just so important, again, for both yourself and for others, kindness. And, you know, that's a K word, I think, that is so important. One, we are not often kind to ourselves, right? We've alluded to that not only today in some things, but also throughout our whole series, right? Whether it's your negative self-talk, whether it's, you know, just kind of knocking yourself down, whether it's reminding yourself of all the things you're not doing, as opposed to looking at the things you are doing and keeping that balance. We're not often kind to ourselves. And the reason that happens, it's a valid reason that it's happening, because you want to be good. You want to be better. You want to be smart. You want to be credible. You want to show up in certain ways, whether that's confident or being trustworthy or whatever it might be. And so that voice in our head is often poking the bear constantly. Are you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing this? The thing is, our self-talk is a horrible communicator. It really is bad at supporting us, which is why that self-talk is often more critical. So if you shift to a kinder self-talk, and you are kinder to yourself, and you cut yourself some slack, and you remind yourself you're human and you're not going to be perfect, so why are you trying to do that? And you remind yourself making mistakes isn't a problem. The mistake's never the problem. It's the recovery that matters. So what are you going to do when a mistake gets made? Get up and keep going, or sit and wallow in it? That's going to change where you go and whether you accomplish what you're looking to or not, and whether you feel good or not. So being kind to yourself, and then be kind to others, right? There's of course the saying, you never know what someone else is going through. Sometimes we do know what other people are going through if we know them. Um, and you can make choices to be kind to people, right? Whether it's on the road in traffic, right? You can yell at the speeder who just cut you off, or you can say, you know what, maybe there's a reason. Maybe they just got to call their kid was in an accident and they're getting to the hospital. You never know. So just sit back and be more kind. It's another way to just up your game in so many different ways. And the more that you practice kindness, the more you realize that things like calm and confidence and being able to sit back and just observe without having to jump in and have an opinion about everything, all of those things come along for that ride, which not only changes you, how you show up and how you feel, but also how you're perceived by others. And that impacts other people. If you're looking to change other people, don't try and change other people, change you, and then take that you out into the world. And you'll be amazed at how others change because of that influence.
Yeah. Yeah, I have something to add to that too. And then this is straight from psychology. I have a psychologist that comes and speaks to our group once a month. That kindness, when how you react to other people is a direct reflection of how you feel about it for yourself. So one of the best ways to start to change your self-talk is to give that next person that positive self-talk. So if you would normally criticize somebody else for not getting up and moving in the day, that means you're like not that you'd be really hard on yourself for not moving in the day. And so it's kind of like that little ripple of I first change my grace and my kindness out to others, and then I can give it back to myself. So I feel like that's important. And then the other thing, talking about kindness, and now I'm going to lose it. You know what? You can keep going. But I felt like that's important to know that that's like legit science, that we have to change both kindness out and to get it back in.
And I'm going to take what you just said, Lindsay, and if you jump in, if you remember what you were going, good old COVID brain, right?
Yeah, I'm going to blame everything on COVID brain.
Right. What you just said is so important because, we talk about from a psychology standpoint, the concept of projection, right? And so often, when it's easy for us to take things really personally, right? But that's a choice, because oftentimes if somebody's attacking you somehow, that really says much more about them than it is about you. It has nothing to do with you more often than not. It is about them. And with what you're saying, it's true. A great way to practice stuff like kindness or giving kudos is to do it as often as you can, whether it's for you or for someone else, because the more you practice, the quicker that habit's going to come in. And if you do it for other people, you're going to find yourself doing it for you. If you do it for you, you're going to find yourself doing it for other people, because those two things are interconnected at some point along the line. It just becomes what you do, regardless of who's in the room, so to speak. Yeah. And so, keep that in mind, that projecting out, that when you are getting upset with someone for something, what a great moment to be able to sit back and do a self check-in. Why did that really irritate me? Why am I getting so upset or frustrated or mad at that? And more often than not, right? Sometimes there are legit reasons why I'm done over here, but more often than not, you will gain some self-awareness and self-insight that will blow your mind, because you will find, like you said, the reason I'm so mad at them is because I'm projecting, because I want to be doing that, or no, I should be doing that. There's that no again, and I'm not. And so it's easier to tell somebody else what they should be doing than to tell myself, get up and go do it, because you need to do it too. And again, it's easier to blame outwardly than to be aware and accept inwardly. So what another great habit to get into is own everything that is you. You have got to be aware. You have got to understand what you want to do and why. And then you've just got to go do it. And if you're not doing it, own it and make yourself go do it if you truly want it. And if you are doing it, give yourself pats on the back constantly for the littlest things. It all is intertwined, isn't it?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. I did think of it. So I'm going to end with this. I know we're screeching up to our timeline here, but I had interviewed a body peace coach last week, which I don't know if anyone has ever heard of that.
Mm.
She was a psychologist who came into the body piece and like our relationships with our body. And so this goes back to the kindness word. And I want everyone to assess what your relationship to your body is. She goes
Mm.
into how a lot of us want to become next door neighbors with our body. We don't want to live with it because we don't like our body, ourself. I know I'm kind of going more into the, again, nutrition, fitness, body piece of this, but this
Love
is a
this.
big
Love
deal.
this.
Yeah. And so do you like yourself? Do you like living with yourself? Are you in a poor relationship with self? So like her point was to do almost counseling, couples counseling, but instead of with somebody else, you're doing it with yourself. And are you giving yourself kindness? Do you speak respectfully to yourself? Do you give yourself self-care? Kind of thinking if you were sitting in couples counseling, you would be asked to give all of that to that other person that you're sitting there and counseling with. So if you really think of it that way and you just directly say, this is for me, we have to like rebuild that relationship with our body, especially if you've divorced your body years ago, if you have
Mm.
exited that scene because you can't stand yourself. There's a lot of work to come back to the self-love and the kindness towards self. Some people are a little closer and can get there faster, and other people, it's been since they were like 10 years old or younger. And so it's going to take a lot of work. Right? The kindness doesn't come like that. It's effort, it's consistency, and a lot of times grabbing external help.
Wow. Oh, thank you for adding that. How fascinating. I've never heard of that. That's phenomenal. And boy, are there so many people who just hearing that will help them shift and go, whoa, that put things into a different perspective. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, and
No.
on that note, we can't top that. That was a
Oh,
phenomenal.
you're sweet.
It was. It was.
That we're done. I know we've exceeded our time, and let's remind everybody though, your true homework today is the kudos and celebrating all of your small wins. If you have never checked out Robin's book, Get Off My Bus, I think that you need to do that. I will put our podcast link underneath as well. And if
And if
you,
you have not
yes.
checked out Lindsay's podcast, Direction Not Perfection, it is phenomenal and so many wonderful nuggets like the one she just added here and amazing guests. So again, I know that we are again giving kudos to one another. If we can put good things into the world, people need to know about them because you never know who needs to hear that or see that or read that today.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Thank you again so much for today. Selfishly, I hope everybody else liked it, but selfishly today I have been fed. Thank you.
we've checked we've checked good stuff off the list today.
Yeah.
So I will agree with that. All right. We will see you in a couple of weeks with Elle. We are moving on. So if you have once we post that up on LinkedIn, feel free. If you have any L words you want us to discuss as it comes to success, we will look forward to doing that and sharing with you. Feel free, join us, and we'll see you soon. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye.